Hey everyone, I know I'm a little late. Ooh, that needs to go down. Where's that going? But yeah, this is the Dying Light 2 stream. Sorry I'm so late, but let's get into it.
Hello guys, nice to meet you. I'm Leah, and this is Dying to Know. If you're dying to know what's going on in the world of Dying Light 2, you're in the right place. Here we'll be showing you all the news, the latest from the Dying Light world. We'll be announcing a few contests, we'll be talking to developers, and probably most importantly, we're going to be showing you a brand new gameplay trailer.
Okay, so developer talk and
game. But first,
trailers.
someone here I need
Okay.
to introduce you to. It's Aiden Caldwell.
I'm a pilgrim, an outcast, swimming like a Japanese ronin or an old west
Okay.
desperado.
Let me know if the levels are okay.
As a
Chat.
dying light at the end of this tunnel.
He said it.
Hello, guys. My name is Jonah Scott, and I voice Aiden Caldwell in Dying Light 2. But before that, I'm going to host this program with Leia, if you don't mind.
My pleasure. Well, I'm ready. Jonah's definitely ready, and I hope you're ready.
So if you're dying to know, just like us, then stick with us.
The story told in Dying Light 2 occurs 20 years after the events of the first game. And if you're wondering what happened in those intervening 20 years, well, there's no better person to ask than the Dying Light 2 world director, Thomas Gabao, with who I'll be talking in just a moment.
And after that, I'll be speaking with Pietro Jemenic, the narrative director of the game, about the characters that appear in Dying Light 2.
All right.
Welcome to the show, Thomas. So the first question I have for you today is, do I need to have played Dying Light 1 to sort of understand what's happening in Dying Light 2?
No, actually, you don't. Like you mentioned before, the game takes place some 20 years later, in a world where humankind has lost the war to the virus. So, in a way, you could say that Dying Light 2 takes us to the world beyond the apocalypse.
Intriguing. All right.
So, chat, if you want to fill me in, I never finished Dying Light, so does that contradict anything that happened at the end of Dying Light? I'd be kind of interested to find out. I only got halfway in, I think.
Yeah, right. So they just isolated the inner city. And did it help? Did it stop the virus?
Yeah, for a while it worked. Enough for everyone to forget about it, at least. Only in secret, a handful of scientists continued to study the virus. You know, manipulating its DNA, creating new strains. They were looking for commercial military applications. So, you know, they're doing it for the money, really.
Yeah, of course. So what happened next?
Well, next, the shit hit the fan. By Christmas 21, one of these mutated strains escaped from a level 4 laboratory located near Geneva. We don't really know if this was accidental or not, but this time the virus was much faster than any government.
Don't know if I want to play that. In modern day context.
2023, 98% of the
Yikes.
population had been lost to the virus. There was a few settlements remaining, but only one city was still standing. The last bastion of mankind, or city, Villador, aka the city.
Right, so Villador is what we have left. So that's everything that's happened outside of the city. What actually happens inside Villador?
Well, the city has unique rules. First of all, it's surrounded by...
I like this kind of laid back, kind of almost in the almost in game kind of look it's got.
Terrifying new monster archetypes. 15 years on, a new equilibrium sort of emerged in the city. By daylight, human factions fight to control the city, and at night, the streets become the realm of these bloodthirsty infected monsters.
Great. Well, that is extremely interesting. Thank you very much, Thomas. And we'll be hearing more about the vibrant and fantastic city soon, I hope. But first, I
hope we get a release date. That'd be nice.
Our second guest is a man of two industries, cinema and gaming. In a previous life, he wrote the hit HBO series Wataha?
Wataha, yeah.
Wataha. And then he moved on to Techland to become a narrative.
I've never heard of it, but
Piotr Jemenic.
Hi guys.
Sure.
Thank you.
So we have plenty of time to talk about the rest of the characters in Dying Light 2. There are tons of them. But today,
yeah, like what about Troy Baker's character?
Do you want to talk more about him? Or?
Yeah, sure. So,
Or did he get recast?
Of outcasts, you know, the group of people traveling through this dangerous world of Dying Light 2, called Pilgrim.
Because I mean,
Because he's looking for his relative.
didn't they reveal this at E3 2018 or something like that?
And that person is his only memory from the past, and the only answer to whom Aiden really is.
Aiden is a really rich, deep character, very much cooler than I am.
Come on.
I mean, he can run across buildings, jump from rooftop to rooftop,
Okay.
all kinds of weapons.
Yeah, well,
You know,
he didn't have much choice.
I would
This was
honestly
infected
be
doctors,
okay with
so he didn't have much choice,
just
right?
this whole game
We
just
die,
being about
Strong survive, and Aiden, he
like
does
almost like a
his
Mirror's
best.
Edge kind of thing. Just kind of
But
just,
why did he
hey,
come
run
back?
around.
Why him? That's the main question of the game, and the player will have opportunity also to decide how Aiden will evolve. Will he help the weak? Will it distract him from his main goal? Or maybe he will just strive to the end of his search as soon as possible.
I can't imagine trying to survive or live in a city like that as a lone wolf by yourself without any kind of support.
Well, he's not gonna be alone, you know. He will meet many people, but again, depending on the player choice, some of them will become his allies, but some of them will become his enemies. One of the group he will encounter.
Oh, right, there's choice in this one, isn't there?
The former special force officers who were sick.
That'd actually be cool if it like you end up in a Mass Effect or a Black Ops 2 kind of situation.
But they were brave enough to help the people during the night. And the night, as you know, is pretty horrifying in the game.
Yeah, so Aiden joins them, joins the Night Runners?
Oh, that's the question, my friends. The player will have to answer too. I won't spoil the pleasure of discovering Aiden's actions and true motivations.
Or even like a Detroit Become Human kind of thing. That'd be cool too.
We really put big effort to make this character and the others complex and multidimensional. But there is so much more to be discovered during the game.
Oh, that's fascinating. Can't wait to learn more. Thank you so much, Pierre.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we watch the gameplay trailer of
Okay.
Dying Light 2 for the first time, we need to talk about something which is basically the center of the Dying Light universe, which is
The community. Over the past few years, Dying Light has amassed over 23 million players and a 95% positive review rating on Steam.
which in Steam Talk
Wow.
is overwhelmingly positive. So
Yeah.
We'd like to take a few seconds and thank you guys.
thank you all for being on this journey.
Okay, this
with
is
us,
nice.
Sharing your love with others of Dying Light.
It's not as cringy as a Ubisoft moment where it's like, thanks everybody, now spend $120 on this collector's edition.
Pardon the pun, because we're going to be starting a brand new contest which will combine your love of Dying Light with that same creativity.
Oh.
With the release date of Dying Light 2 drawing ever closer, we'd like to extend our hand and invite you to make
Oh,
the
okay.
video a little
That
better.
actually,
If you find yourself skilled in the ways of visual arts, writing, or costumes and cosplay, please join the Dying Light universe.
that's cool.
Check out dyinglightgame.com/contest, and if you win, there's a fantastic monetary prize on the line. But also, there's some other great rewards you've been with a chance with winning as well.
Like Platinum Edition of Dying Light.
Okay, that's cool.
Look at this. This is the finest edition of Dying Light ever made. This is the Platinum Edition of Dying Light. This has every bit of content ever released for Dying Light in one place.
That was already announced, but okay.
Look at it.
For those of you who haven't experienced Dying Light yet, we are introducing Dying Light 1 Platinum Edition. It's the biggest and most complete edition to have ever existed.
And we're offering it to you now at an historically low price. All the content, lowest price.
There's literally no better time to buy than now, and you can get it on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation.
I might have to check that out.
Edition of Dying Light now. This is the best offer, like, ever. I guess we don't have time to go over everything that's in the Platinum Edition, but it is everything. This is how it looks.
That's cheeky, that's cool. I'll have to check and see if I've got this already in my account. I think I've got it on Xbox or something like that. I mean, I definitely need to get back into it. Because, I mean, Dying Light 2 looks pretty good from what I saw at E3 2018, so. I think the biggest hoop I ran into was that I didn't quite get the hang of the controls quite as well as I thought I should have.
Okay, so I'm excited because you guys gonna see the official gameplay trailer for Dying Light 2. And then after that, we're gonna interview some of the devs that made it possible.
So, without further ado, here
Also, let me know how the captions, well, if you like the captions. Trying it out. It is out today. There'd be more talk if it was out today. Oh, E3 2019.
You get out that old fuck. You saw how your decisions influenced the narrative and notably changed the environment.
Yeah.
This time, we want to give you a broader look at the game and a sneak peek at some of the things
Okay.
we're talking about in upcoming months. In Dying Light 2, you become Aiden Caldwell, an outsider trying to unravel a tickled mystery from his past. Its trail leads him to the city, probably the last bastion of mankind in the world.
Shit!
At first, you feel like this intense, brutal place will tear you apart. But then you meet the Night Runners, veteran survivors who help people in better days.
By the way, you were a night runner. You used to help people, remember?
Those voices sound familiar.
A myth.
Though it's not entirely clear you can trust them,
Guy from
lies in the dark.
Deus Ex. Last Foe or something like that.
And these are the modern Dark Ages. It's been 15 years since the apocalypse and the world has changed. The old civilization has fallen, but a new one has been built on its ashes. People fight desperately for scarce resources. Rules are broken, and weakness is punished. Three factions struggle.
Okay.
Survivors pride themselves on being able to adapt to any circumstances and
Oh, please don't make me farm. Please don't make me farm.
peacekeepers.
That's what got me off of Fallout 4 was all the management stuff.
All in their path.
I just couldn't do it.
Prisoners serving their ruthless colonel, seeking to become sole rulers of the city.
Where is Bones? Make him talk.
Use these factions to reach your goal. Help or harm them to reshape the city to your
Huh.
will. Just remember, each faction contains complex characters.
Huh.
Nosy Parker, ain't ya? Got some kind of bad habit of yours?
So, will you follow cold calculation or your heart?
What about both?
Good people. Help us and you'll find a home here.
Some in the city offer no chance for an alliance. Bandits, outlaws, and common thugs live only to plunder and kill, plunging the streets into chaos. Nightfall scares all of them equally. Darkness changes the rules of the world. As the light fails, monsters crawl out of hiding to prey on the poor souls caught outside the safety of UV rays. Hordes of infected pour into the streets like decaying lava. The deadly spawn of 15 years
Oh,
of
that's
mutation and evolution.
it's kind of cool.
Your only escape? Exploit the city's verticality and flee to the roofs.
Oh man.
Though even there, you are never safe from swift and deadly virals.
I like how much the
Even greater threat.
movement has changed. Yeah, AI seems much improved. I like that
Opportunity as well.
because it felt like you could just
It's rife with
either get cornered or just
empty.
run away with reckless abandon.
To explore them, you must
in the first game, I mean. Like, specifically if you got caught in a bus, I
Those
think.
brave enough to face the terrors of the night can loot a jackpot.
Not looting. Not looting.
Luckily, you have all the tools you need to survive.
You. And you.
Extraordinary parkour skills allow you to navigate even the most treacherous terrain.
What would the in-game, like, explanation for this be? Because, like, in the first one, you were like a special agent or something. But in this one, I mean, you seem to be a regular guy.
Parkour acrobatics to save your life. But often, you'll have to face your enemies head on.
Also,
Then you have to be
very good
smart,
physics model.
resourceful, and determined. We've worked hard on the essence of our combat, making sure swinging a big, meaty weapon is fun, satisfying, and well executed.
Nice.
But even the most brutal fights can be tactical as well. You have multiple ways to hone your skills to
All right,
the
the
that suits you best.
oof.
It's up to you if you focus mostly on mobility and parkour, or aggressive, blunt force combat, or a crafty approach where the tools you've created get the job done. Every ability you learn can be a game changer and
Okay.
possibly a new favorite move.
That reminds me a lot of the way that Batman Arkham City worked,
Quick and dying light moment matters. Each move
which I
can be
really liked.
triumph or defeat. Choose your actions and friends carefully. Everything you do in the city can be shaped the game environment, change the course of the narrative, and decide the fate of the city's residents. But most importantly, you decide your own fate as well.
You're about to turn.
Make sure to stay human.
Oh, please tell me you can play it.
Extensive post-apocalyptic
Oh, man.
world, and I really like that divisiveness. You know, the life on the roof and then death on the streets.
Yeah, like the intensity of the day and the night cycle together.
It's almost like Dying Light 2 is two different games put together into one.
Yeah, like despite all the brutality going on the ground floor, there's something about like the rooftops and the plants.
It's cozy.
Yeah, I kind of want to be there. But it does feel like
I don't-
every decision is vital. Like your choices actually do have some consequences.
Choices and cons are incredibly vital to Dying Light 2's gameplay, and we're going to interview some devs and talk about some other very vital gameplay mechanics. Our next guest is Adrian Shizevsky.
I almost wish that they had just made this a whole
Yeah, for sure. It looks like he's a very
like a E3 style
Where do y'all get your inspiration?
Oh, that was a research.
um
We did a deep dive
gameplay demo like
and we
E3,
found repetitive patterns. We found that
like a good
humans design
15-minute
in the past,
walkthrough
the fall of civilization
with these devs.
the fall of the nation that's supposed to be a backbone of our world. So our approach was super simple. We just copycat those behaviors and attitudes and show you how our world would look like after the fall. However, it's kind of obvious that the main reason that civilization fall is virus
Yeah,
pandemic,
I don't know if I like that.
economical collapse.
I mean, like,
That's
I get it.
basically obvious thing.
Like you,
But it's even
that was
darker.
kind of the bent of Dying Light, but
Things with the research we did in
it,
the beginning of the
I don't know if
project.
people are gonna respond to that in the
People will question
COVID world.
everything. They're gonna blame everything and everyone that's supposed to guide us in our lives so they're gonna blame government, they're gonna blame law, they're gonna blame science.
This is real Ubisoft energy.
Some people might
Like,
ask
oh, we're
themselves,
not political,
where
but
was God when it happened to us, basically, you know? So I feel that all of those things together creates the sensation that
yeah.
it's a giant step backward for our civilization.
So Dying Light 2 has a subtle stay.
I mean, like, I know it's not like
Well, it's
like these games aren't made in a vacuum, but
those values
yeesh,
that makes us human. So
I don't.
or support. So
I feel like a meta commentary on the whole COVID stuff.
is a big test for everyone, and I think it's even harder test because to
stay human, people would sacrifice what's the most important for them, or sometimes
Yeah.
also their lives.
Wow, so that's like really intense. And there's like the obvious like double meaning to it, which is what I was thinking. Stay human, don't become a zombie.
Yeah, but one this time are not zombies, you know.
Oh.
Those are infected to be a monster. They're just crossing a line, you know, and they're turning to be a monster, you know. Because in Dying Light we all infected. Yeah, we all wearing this biomarker, you know it, and you wear this, I'm wearing this. That's a watch actually, but you know that, you know. So that's the thing. So the challenge is to not cross this line.
I wonder if maybe they have like a mode, like where if you don't stay human or whatever,
People have crossed the line.
that you become
Well, fascinating. Thank you so much, Adrian. We're definitely going to be hearing from you again
part like
soon.
a monster or whatever. That'd be kind of cool to like have almost a sort of permadeath kind of thing.
Environmental art director.
Hi. And we have game designer Michal Duzak.
Hello. So, choices and consequences. The player has to make a choice, and they have to experience or endure the consequences. What does that mean?
Basically, the whole system of choice and consequences is really, really complex. I would say the best way to describe it is that player is making.
In that moment, they just showed where he's blowing up the thing. Kind of reminds me of Fallout 3 when you decide whether or not to blow up Nuketown.
How the story ends. The second layer are choices while the quests, and those choices can actually influence the mission itself. And the last layer is so-called city alignment system, and I, as an open-world game designer, would like to focus on.
Please do.
All right, so water and electricity are basically a key to survive in every world. By restoring it, player cannot not only unlock the water or electricity in the area, but he can also, based on his decision, assign it to one of the factions, which will influence how the district looks like or who's going to live inside of it. But it also
Reminds me of Mafia 3's kind of, I think, Dawn system or whatever it was called.
Factions like car traps, zip lines, or trampoline. The player can use in exploration to deal with bandits or infected, or simply to move faster through the city. So basically, based on your choices, you shape the game environment, which gives you a different experience every time you start a new game. And what is worth mentioning here, that 2 is playable up to 4 co-op players. You can host the game or join other players and see how their choices came up differently to your own.
Interesting.
There's one thing I'm really curious about, though. Night versus day. How does the gameplay differ from the night and day?
Well, the short answer is that day is for humans and night is for the monsters. But to describe it a little bit better, I would say that during the day, humans in factions.
I will say one prop that I'll give this stream, and I'm blocking some of it, is the subtitles.
Its citizens learn the stories, day-to-day agenda.
That's a nice accessibility feature that I've always appreciated in streams like this.
Yeah, and that sounds quite pleasant, but I'm guessing night changes everything.
Exactly. During the night, all the infected get out of the buildings. And compared to the Dying Light 1, the night is going to be even more intense this time. Intense in terms of the amount of enemies, the new types, and new, more aggressive behaviors.
Yeah, I want to see those, the new zombies, or not zombies, but new folks. Because it seems like they're tweaking it into a way that kind of takes advantage of the new stuff in the game.
Can you tell us a little bit about the city became to look that way?
Yes, I guess the important thing to realize is in 2025, a decision was made to use a chemical attack to stop the spread of the Haran virus. And the result is a tight ring of chemically active areas around the city. Some of the chemicals have gotten into the groundwater and spread under the surface, killing every living plant and every living thing in its reach. What it means for the city is that the street level are virtually dead. The soil is
so like you have to stay at the top.
Any plant, and the street level is a domain of the monsters. Just
almost like
So it sounds like there's just no
floor is lava almost.
life down there.
Not really. The survival on the street street level is pretty tough.
Hmm.
So the common people are just visitors there. The life prevailed. It moved up to the rooftops. And this is where lands are flourishing and blooming in the post-apocalyptic landscape, and this is where people build and develop the new world of Dying Light 2.
Huh.
Electricity producing windmills and save zones for the player. And in a way, in a metaphorical
It feels like
sense,
this game's gonna be
it's not
huge.
ground
I mean, like,
level
bigger than an Assassin's Creed game. Huge.
streets is in a way
This is
kind
kind of
of
insane.
of sorts, just a corpse of a lost civilization.
Yeah, at least I can't imagine being a citizen living in that city, let alone being a player, and how challenging that's going to be.
Yeah, and hold that thought. Thank you very much for joining us today, but it's now time to introduce our next guests.
With us now are Bartosz and Peter. And guys, I have one question. Dying Light 2, how big is it?
It's pretty big.
We know that. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, the map in Dying Light 2 is divided into 2 huge regions and several zones.
Okay.
There are plenty leftovers from the lost civilization for you to discover. But we didn't want our players to perceive the map only horizontally, so we see the map as a multi-level 3D world that supports
As you should.
and helps you solve parkour puzzles.
Yes, in-house we call it multi-layer open world exploration. And you know, the movement
It's strange. Like,
remove every restriction.
the stuff they're talking about here you'd want from an Assassin's Creed game, but the recent, even though the more recent Assassin's Creed games are good, they're still very horizontal.
In Dying Light 2 wasn't our goal. We want to make one or more step forward to surprise the player expectation. That's why we doubled the number of parkour moves.
Doubled. Felt like there was a shortage in Dying Light 1, so.
Yes, the iconic Dying Light 1 parkour is essential there. We improve it. We double the number of parkour moves. The players will see over 3,000 different parkour animations. From the basic move, through the tricks, to the small little tasty details there that you can see it.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I'll have to stop you there, but don't hate me because in the next episode, we're going to be talking more about parkour and how the team have managed to make an authentic urban running experience in Dying Light 2.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the information. Bartosz, Peter, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the last and arguably the most important question I'm sure you have is, when is the release date?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a very, 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 very important question.
And look at the answer. And the answer is the 7th of December!
Well, that's the week of my birthday.
And now that we know the release date of the game, it's time for you to go
That's-
pre-order it. Go to
that's rad.
dyinglight.com/preorder, select your platform, and then hit pre-order.
I hope it has the same.
You just pre-ordered one of the most anticipated games of this year. Go,
I don't know what's anticipated, but
Oh, wow. I want one.
Well, I've got good news for you then, because this official figurine is part of the collector's edition of Dying 2, and you can get one for yourself if you want. We'll leave like a proper unboxing of the whole set to the professionals, but we do have in front of us right now, so it'd be rude not to take a look. You get, in the collector's edition, a concept art book full
that's
of
nice.
stunning artwork from the game. You get this steel, which will have your game inside
Nice.
it, of course. And you get this interesting little sort of UV flashlight, so yeah.
Cool. Looks like there's all sorts of vanity elements in here too, like some legendary skin packs, as well as all sorts of digital elements. For more information on these digital elements, please visit the pre-order website. I want this, and I want Dying Light 2.
Kind of thought you'd say that. Well, if you're in the same way, then
Okay.
I've got good news, because you can pre-order the collector's edition. However, it is very, very limited, so you'll have to be very quick.
Rest assured, there will be plenty of the standard edition for your standard gamer. But if
That's
you're
a story DLC?
There is a deluxe edition of Dying
Okay.
Light 2 with a steel book, legendary pack, and a digital soundtrack, and much, much more.
So to summarize, that's 3 different editions that you can buy depending on what you're.
Rated M, but I guess we already knew that.
And if you just can't wait until release to get immersed in the world of Dying Light 2, then why don't you go check out the Techland and Goodies website for more info.
Techland GG, okay.
Whether or not you want updates on Dying Light 2 with the news, or you want Dying Light 2 items in Dying Light 1. everyone's gonna they like there.
Yep, and this is just an initial offering as well. Check back later for even more details, more information, and we'll be going through it in future episodes as well.
That's it. Don't forget to pre-order the game and take part in our contests. The details are on the game's website.
And here's a sneak peek at the topic of the next episode. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.
See ya.
I guess this is the part where where I should say epilepsy warning. So, or not. But was that it? Looks like it. So that was the Dying Light, Dying to Know live stream. Okay, I'll turn the audio off on that one because that's joining noise is kind of getting in my head. So thoughts. I like that. Well, first, I like that the release date is on my birthday or the week of my birthday. That's pretty nice. I always like games releasing around my birthday. The Far Cry 3 came out, I think, the day of my birthday. So that was really nice. I think I played that and beat it in a weekend. But so format. As far as that goes, I wish, like I said during the stream, I think the best thing they should have done with this Dying to Know, I think this is part of a series. I know they've done a March update, so I guess they do this every 2 months. But I would have loved to just have a deep dive into this. I don't know when their next Dying to Know is, but I would have loved to see a deep dive, just kind of E3 style episode of the Dying to Know series or whatever it's called. Primarily because this, I mean, let's see, who's publishing Dying Light 2? Is it? I think it's Square Enix. Okay, so I guess they could show it the Square Enix E3 2021 thing, but realistically, this is the last chance before E3 2021, or whatever it's called, whatever the version of E3 this year is called. Before the last chance they have before that, and I feel like you could have just gone bombastic with it, and they really didn't. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But the gameplay trailer, I mean, I was already kind of sold, so I didn't really need to be sold even more. So yeah, I didn't care much for the interviews because I feel like it was a half step. Because I feel like, again, you could have just done a developer walkthrough kind of thing. But as far as the press conferences or whatever you want to call these live streams so far today, I think this is the obviously number one because the Sonic Central that was that happened here today was not that. So without further ado,